Does anybody else think that it's odd that we teach our daughters what to expect from men but not how to treat them? And we teach our sons how to treat women but not what to expect from them? I've got a son and I do not want him to grow up in a world where he's expected to treat women well, but he has absolutely zero expectations of how those women are supposed to treat him. We need to be treating our sons and daughters equally so that our daughters grow up expecting to be treated well, but so do our sons. It really scares me to think that my son might grow up, move out of this house and no longer receive the love that he deserves.
TunaBeats.com.
What's going on, good people out there? Welcome back to my channel, My Life Perspective. I'm really glad that this clip was played and shown, and it really gives me hope, especially when I see women like this in our society. They're putting out the good message of hope and faith that things will turn around, especially in pertaining to love and relationships. And I made a video, I'm making a video about this because we live in a day and age where it seems like the standards for men and women, not only, I won't say it seems like, but it is what it is, right? The standards for men and women, how we're treated, how we see and how we view each other are far different. And some can put it on, the men being simps and, not putting their foot down enough. And some can put it on just the way people are conditioned today. But as a man myself, one of the biggest things that I'm key on is respect. I'm a man that I value being respected by the woman I'm dating. And I value being treated with kindness and being, appreciated for who I am and what I'm willing to do. And partly because of the fact that we live in a world today that just denigrates the value of a man. We live in a society that tells men to, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, work hard, provide, protect, and then when things are well, pretty much we don't need you, so then you're just a cast off. You're ignored or ostracized and you're put down, and it bothers me because of, just how men are treated in our country. And I'm not saying that it's all women, right? There are some really nice, good-hearted, genuine women out there who genuinely care about a man. But we live in a day and age where we're allowing our society to push out men, telling men that they don't belong and putting down what it means to be a man. Anything that a man does, is mansplaining, as far as what, how he's trying to get his point across, or, a man could be standing up for something that's right, and somehow that's toxic masculinity. You're not, allowed to come out here, tell your woman how she should dress, when in reality you're just looking out for her best interest. And you shouldn't expect a whole lot of anything for Father's Day. Yet, especially in the black community, we love to pedestalize the women and let these women come out here claiming they're the mother and the father. Like they literally had sex with themselves, by themselves, and pushed this baby out by themselves. But yeah, somehow, we denigrate what it means to be a man in society. And I'm not saying that as men, we shouldn't take responsibility of ourselves and who we are as far as our actions in a relationship. But I see some men come out here and they talk about walking away from marriage and why they don't want to get married, and discussing, how they're viewed, how they're treated, and how women can just come and go as they please, and how nothing can be done or said. And I listen to, some podcasters like Just Pearly, talking about the divorce rate, what goes on in child support court, and them giving their takes on how men are treated. And it really gives me hope when I see women speaking out and pushing back against these narratives and these things that are put out. I really do wish we went back to a time, especially in the 90s, where love was actually love. I'm not saying it was perfect, but at the same time, people dated based off of merit and value, you know, and you didn't have all these, toxic things, these situations where men are being laughed at when they're getting abused physically and verbally by other women. Now I find it sad because in the same time, you have women who come out here and they'll complain and they'll say, well, why don't men approach? Why aren't men, stop? Why don't they come out here and approach us anymore? And sometimes I sit back and I think to myself, I have these thoughts going through my mind, what would women think if they really came out here and faced the same reality that the average man just deals with every single day? And it's not me coming on here shaming women or anything, but as a young man myself, we deserve to be valued. There's a lot that young men offer this society outside of just them working, providing, and protecting people. Like, there's a lot of great qualities of men, just like there's great qualities in a lot of the women out here. And it's really sad to me that, you wake up every day and you see people wanting to, stay single and be lonely or be alone because of their experiences, especially men today, that they've dealt with, the traumas that we've, seen other guys go through, leading to suicide, people not being able to, young men or men not being able to see their children, and so on and so forth. So then when I listened to what this woman was saying, her talking about how she fears for her son, as far as how she hopes that he finds love, I can only imagine how many women actually feel that way. But it amazes me how women can grow up one way of thinking in terms of viewing women's rights the one way, and then, looking at men as their oppressor. But then as soon as they have a son and they grow up and they realize, oh, there's a whole different world, there's a whole nother perspective and a whole nother avenue and an approach to these situations. So it's really, I'm really grateful, and it's really humbling to see, that in some cases that it takes for a woman to have a son to realize that, yeah, men are human beings too. A lot of people putting out videos about men, how we should be stoic and strong. And honestly, man, as a man myself, I am a human being. Men are humans, right? And we deserve to be valued and at least respected for our worth. So when I see these, these videos and people, don't let things bother you. Like, you're human. You're a human being. It's really disgusting, the type of content and the type of information that's being spread about men being toxic. Your existence. Why do you exist? Do women need men? And women saying no, they don't. Like, yes, we are needed, but more so, we should be valued and appreciated a lot more. And it just breaks my heart sometimes to see that, because it's like, we're okay with that, and then when you speak out against it, you're toxic. You become a misogynistic, person. Or if you're a woman, you get ostracized because now you're not standing for the feminist movement, the feminist rights that they're constantly out here, abiding for, and attacking others for. So, shout out to the women like her who were in this previous clip, were standing up and expressing how men should be treated in our society. That's all I have to say for this video. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of comments, to talk about and discuss what's going on. But I wish our society was different, man. I really wish that men and women really got along and could see eye to eye. I don't like a lot of this propaganda of women being on their own, not needing men, and men going MGTOW because we aren't treated with that respect. Like, it's really disgusting to see the world we live in today. It's really sad and disheartening when, in reality, I just simply want what's best for our country and for people to thrive in. But until we get to that place, here we are. But that is all I can say today. I'll just continue growing and being the best man I can be. And, for a lot of you good guys out there, continue to be good people, man. There's good things that are happening for y'all in those lives. And for the great quality women out there, we appreciate y'all support. And thank you for what y'all do and what y'all say to stand up for men's rights. That is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and leave a comment down below and tell me what you think about my video and what I'm talking about. But go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to my content. And I'd like to say, and as I'd like to say before, to be woke, or excuse me, to be conscious is not to be woke. Or excuse me, to be informed is not to be woke. Stay conscious, my friends.